Yeah.
How you been doing? I haven't seen you in a minute.
I know I haven't seen you. We were just saying before we hit record how I was refusing to come on here because I was too upset about. I was going to start ranting about the guy who reviewed my book in the LA Review of Books, but now I'm just going to do it anyway.
Yeah, what happened there?
Because he was too.
I think I looked at it.
He
It was
liked
about
my book, but
was
then
it
he was
about
just,
Gabriel Smith's book
well,
too?
he really was mean to Gabriel Smith, my good friend Gabriel Smith. I've never met, but I would love to, for professional reasons, I would love for him to be a fan of mine.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
He's like a great guy. He's a DiTrapano.
He's a DiTrapano boy.
For sure.
Yeah.
So he was really mean to that book, which fine. Like that's a book, that's like on like the Today Show or whatever. But my book,
It was?
I don't know. It was on. It might as well have been.
Yeah, he's a drift boy.
He's in the drift. Yeah.
The literary word.
You can be critical of someone if they're in the drift, but for me, especially, well, he was talking a lot about. And this is our good friend Leo Lasden. I guess we're gonna shout him out.
Who wrote the thing?
Yeah. He's a great guy. I keep hanging out with him. We got Pinkberry.
Are you serious? The guy who wrote the review?
Yeah. He's like 25. He's like a 25-year-old Jewish writer.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You guys are tight?
No. After.
Oh, after.
After the beef. Yeah, but he was afraid to admit how much he liked my book. So it's like, so now I can't even send this LA Review of Books review around. I thought it was gonna do me. I thought it was gonna be a powerful piece of PR.
So it was your friend?
He wasn't my friend, but he was just like, I just had a feeling he's a Jewish guy, and he did like the book. He told me he liked the book a lot, but then in the review, he kind of, there wasn't like a single like unambiguously like, laudatory sentence.
I like your cigarette smoking part.
He's smoking the that's a dope part of the book. Right there. I'm gonna put that up on.
Weren't you continually asking me if I'd read that part yet?
Because it was new, I feel like I added that in.
You added that in?
I hadn't read. It was like, yeah, there's a new scene where he almost smokes a cig.
Dude, you're wild, bro.
For that part?
Yeah, for so much of this, dude.
There's a lot of stuff in there, yeah, that I was like reading it aloud to myself like a couple weeks ago, like in my apartment, alternating between like intense shame and like cackling at.
What do you have intense shame for?
A bunch of it just like is so there's like something like kind of like frantic and like very young about it. But
how old are you now?
I'm 27 now.
And when did you read it?
I was like most like 23.
23?
Yeah, but I think I kind of started when I was like 22.
Okay.
Like a week before because the first chapter it's like he's like turning 23.
Okay. Yeah, dude, I've been kind of becoming. I was out of town for 3 weeks. I was living.
Were you in a boozy place?
No, I was living in a motel room. I was doing a building job.
Interesting.
So then I would work like 10-hour days.
Was the bread good?
Yeah, the bread was good.
The bread is good.
Yeah. We built a haunted maze at Hershey Park Amusement Park.
Oh, that's actually pretty cool. But you went to school in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, but this is Hershey, Pennsylvania. This is out there in the middle.
This is deep. I don't know that much about it. How is it? But Pennsylvania's it's big now.
What you mean it's big
for the
now?
election? It's big. It's a big.
Oh yeah,
deal.
true.
State.
Yeah. But so yeah, you were 23.
And they got a Jewish governor.
They do?
They got a Jewish guy, yeah.
Damn, dude.
He acts like Jewish Obama, but we don't have to talk about that. But let's talk about my book.
Yeah, let's talk about your book.
Hold that up to the camera. I was also just saying that I wish I brought the hardcover. I forgot it at home. I brought these like Kafka stories and stuff.
Okay, yeah, I'm here with Matthew Davis, author. Let me try again. Out now.
It looks cool. Cover by John Raffman.
Covered by John Raffman. Out now from Arcade.
Arcade Publishing.
Yeah, how long has it been out?
It's been like a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you gotten other reviews?
No, there's some other ones coming, but all of your fans, anyone listening to this who wants to pitch a review,
yeah,
it'd be
you
a great
trying to get
review
your
to
reviews
pitch.
up?
I need to get some reviews up.
It's not always a good thing to get a lot of reviews.
I feel like
I got a lot of reviews.
I know
bro.
you got a lot of reviews in it. That's the thing. It's easy for you maybe not to look, but when there's only like 2 reviews, like I like can read everything anyone says about me because there's only like 2 people talking about my book, so it's very easy for me to like see it. Like I had the code running. I had GPT-4 like write the script, and it would like refresh every like 60 seconds on the LA Review of Books website, and then you
get all the comments.
And then there's no comments on it, but just like it notified me when the article was ready because
I knew it was coming out.
I knew it was coming out, so I had the code running like in the background of my computer, and then it talked.
Yeah.
Because there's a command in like on a Mac called say, and you can say, and it like says like the review is probably it talks like in a robot voice.
Dude, you and your AI, dude,
and
this
the AI
podcast had me fucking dead. We should. I wonder if we should play one.
We should the AI podcast.
Can we play it?
I don't know how you play it. You like put the microphone up to the.
Yeah, I'm gonna play it, dude.
Well, it's the way they're talking about. You should maybe play the one about my book.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Well, play it on your phone, I guess, and put it up to the
Well, I
microphone.
can't because the phone is taking the
Oh,
video.
the phone's recording this
But
video.
I'm
Should
gonna
I do it?
play-
I have my phone.
Okay, you play it on your phone, dude.
I guess. I mean, they really went in on.
This
me,
will be
didn't
the intro.
they? Yeah, but we got all this great stuff. I was just saying.
Yeah, what were you just saying?
I was just talking about all sorts of.
No, just get it ready. Get it ready.
All right, ready?
But
Ready to dive in. Today we're cracking open. Let me try again. This fictional novel that's got everyone buzzing and taking a closer look at its main character, Ross.
And hopefully uncovering some universal truths about, the human condition along the way.
Oh, absolutely. Because who hasn't felt a little lost and maybe even a little ridiculous on their
is
own
this the
journey?
program that's out
Especially in the
there?
age of dating apps and existential dread scrolling.
You took the words right out of my mouth. And speaking of awkward encounters, imagine being on a date that's already going south when suddenly you get the news.
Oh, you're talking about that opening scene?
Yeah, the one where Russ finds out both his parents are gone.
Yeah.
And what does he do? Reaches for a stash of activated charcoal and L-theanine. It's like, hold my grief, gotta detox.
It's such a uniquely Ross move, isn't it? This desperate need to control something, anything, when faced with the ultimate curveball.
damn, dude.
So they actually it's pretty interesting commentary actually that the robots made about my my book.
Yeah, what was their commentary?
Well, that's how desperate I am for reviews. That I'm having robots discuss my book. I'm uploading PDFs of my book to robots and having them have a debate about it.
Yeah, dude. So I read the first half of this a while
A long
ago.
time ago.
A
'Cause
long time
people don't
ago.
even know about the people. One day
Let's
the whole
go-
story's
let's
gonna
go
come
back
out.
to the what's the whole
People
story?
don't even know about Julie. Now I've been
Dude.
making Julie a household name.
You need, dude.
She loves it.
You out of control, bro. you like my I like you like the monster I created, dude.
You did. It is true. It's true.
You are the monster I created.
Well, I don't even have the book because you're in the acknowledgments of my book for introducing me to Julie.
The fire, dude.
I know, but we don't even have it. I forgot. I
Yeah, we
left
don't
it
even
at home.
have it. But yeah, so probably
So people don't know about this.
probably circa
2022.
2022.
Yeah.
But I knew of
It was around
but
when-
you read Fuckboy early when Honor had
I
it?
never read it because she never. I mean, she can't open up her laptop. So I read the hardcover. Yeah, I never.
Oh,
I
you
didn't.
did?
Yeah, I
Okay,
didn't. I didn't read
okay.
when it was.
Okay.
I didn't read an early.
And
F-boy.
then but I knew of you, and then yeah, you had it up on that. You were sharing it for a while.
I was begging people to read this thing.
Yeah, and then I honestly just haven't been reading any contemporary writing,
Mhm.
and I think maybe something about it kind of triggered me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Because it's too dope, or because it's too.
No, dude. I mean, it's funny as hell, dude. It was jokes. It was jokes for sure. You know what I mean?
You gotta put the blurb on the back.
Yeah.
It was jokes for
Yeah,
sure.
it was jokes for sure.
It was jokes
You could
for sure.
you could
Dog.
take that for the paperback. You could
Yeah,
take that for the
I'll put
paperback.
that on there.
I
That's
guess
on
I
the-
just
that's on video.
automatically dish out exactly. I automatically dish out blurbs if it's on the pod. But okay.
And I need the blurbs.
You need the blurbs.
I actually got good ones. I left the book at home, but I got some good blurbs.
Okay, here's a good question. Just okay. But first of all,
But maybe finish this story. You want to finish your story?
yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. The whole story.
So
of,
you read. You were triggered by it. You read a little bit.
Okay, so yeah, I read a little bit a while ago, and then for the past year or so, I just haven't been reading anything contemporary. But but so to give a synopsis of the book, the narrator starts out devastated by a breakup with the woman Laura Leamint, and then proceeds to. He breaks up with her because she's smoking weed, and he doesn't want her to smoke weed.
Yeah.
He doesn't like her smoking weed, and then about a month later,
But he thought she would miss him so much.
yeah, exactly. He thought she would miss him, and then stop smoking weed and come back.
He was using a PUA tactic on her. He was using
A PUA tactic.
Not really a PUA tactic actually, because there was an interview I was just.
I didn't
doing.
even know you say PUA
No, it's
like
not in
that.
the book at all, and he's
That's
going
how
on.
little I ascribe to
What, to PUA tactics or
to
my book?
to any PUA ideology.
I don't really know about it either. I just think the word PUA tactic sounds so funny because I was reading. You ever read Lermontov, A Hero of Our Time?
Mm-mm.
It's about a guy who uses PUA. It's a Russian guy who uses PUA tactics on
Matthew's saying pickup artist
pickup
tactics.
artists. PUA. But actually, I was just doing it at a text-based interview where someone asked if Ross is has an Andrew Tate style view of women. I said like actually very much the opposite. He's very sex negative in the book.
He is quite sex negative.
And I
That
think
is one thing.
He would actually hate pickup artistry because like the purpose is like to like basically trick and like be mean to women in order to
Right.
like get them to have sex with you. So
Right.
he's doing something else. Like he certainly is like neurotic and like manipulative, but not in like a truly evil way, but just in like where he thinks life is like a series of games. I think so. He ends
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, there was an article when I was out in Hershey. There was an article that an acquaintance wrote for the European Conservative, the newspaper, that was about Andrew Tate and Jordan Peterson, and had a section about me saying that I was a good version.
A good version. Well, there's a part in your book where you watch low key red pill videos.
Well, yeah, he was
And,
saying that they're
and
all too serious. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really. Yeah, everyone got their way of thinking about things, I guess.
People will project stuff. Yeah, so that
People
so
project stuff,
yeah,
but
yeah,
I think
so
he was saying that I have like jokes and I don't take myself seriously,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
these guys often take themselves very
I feel
seriously.
like from what I've seen of Tate, he doesn't take himself that seriously. But Peterson takes himself pretty seriously. He starts crying all the time.
Yeah, he.
But I think, and I want to talk about him later, maybe because I'm kind of mad at his like he has this like fake version of Christianity. But anyway, so keeps.
Yeah, we should get into Christianity
we
stuff
can
too.
talk about that later, too.
So then he thinks he hopes she'll come back to him after, but then and about a month later he tries to get her back,
Yeah.
but she moves on from him. So then he starts going on dating apps and having and has some. Oh yeah, and then his parent both of his parents die in a helicopter attack at the end of his first date, right? And
he
then
only goes on one, really.
he only goes on one.
Yeah, he's not.
He goes on that.
He goes
That
on
one
another
with that
later
lady.
on. Yeah. Someone
That
comes
ends
to his
really
house.
bad, and she kind of like flames him.
She kind of lights him up.
And then
for
she
sure.
tries to sleep with him, and he's like, "No,
He
I
doesn't.
don't want to sleep with you."
It's a pretty sex negative book. Overall.
It's
It's
definitely
an incel novel.
Yeah.
But not really incel. He kind of chooses not. He kind of passes up some opportunities to get pussy.
Mm-hmm.
As they say.
Yes. He's. I guess that's something that I think. I think I'm a bit of a sex negative writer also.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, that was part of because I was reading the reviews of your book before I read because it was all over, and then people were like, yeah, he doesn't really do that much f-boying.
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah, you know when Drake says I should sign to Hit Boy because I got all the hits, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then he starts trying to then a few things. There's a few subplots.
He got a sister.
Emily.
A younger sister.
And then he got
you got a sister.
Oh, I got a sister.
You
Yeah.
got a sister too. Yeah. I don't have one. That's fiction.
Yeah. See. Yeah.
I made that up.
Yeah. I think yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna lead into my question in a second, but just to finish the synopsis, and then, he basically tries to get really jacked, and he's hanging out with his friend Vic, his black friend Vic.
Vic's actually half Puerto Rican.
He's half Puerto Rican. My bad.
He's got another friend who's half black.
Okay, yeah.
He's got a lot of diverse friends.
Yeah.
Along the way. Women. He meets a lot of cool people. Italian.
Bro,
Dominican.
So, and then he gives them like financial advice, and after his parents die, he gets a huge sum of money, so he doesn't need to work ever again. And he starts trying to get really taking various supplements and trying to get really get his like jaw structure good, so that like when he returns.
This is because the interview I was doing, they were asking about the word looks maxing.
Yeah,
when I wrote
looks
this, that
maxing.
wasn't really a thing.
That wasn't a thing. I remember when that became a thing.
Yeah, it was. I feel like that was more like the last like year and a half. People started using that word looks maxing.
Yeah,
but when I was writing in
strange,
2020, I was just
very strange.
imagining. I was thinking about my own. My own weird.
You were just doing looks
appearance.
maxing.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't actually doing looks maxing, but I was like at home all the time.
Yeah.
And there's other things that are even the word like biohacking, which is
biohacking.
yeah, he does a lot of stuff like that.
That's like taking various supplements.
Yeah, weird
I
stuff,
didn't know
red lights
I didn't know about
saunas.
maca root when I read it
Maca.
before, and then I was going back and there's a little maca root part.
He has
when he meets with that one
with
girl.
I think it's with his.
It's with Laura. That's with Laura.
He sees her again halfway through. He
Yeah.
slips her a little bit.
Yeah, he slips her a little.
Just to see if that could help.
Some maca root.
Yeah, well, it's so funny because guys are like, "Yo, you should come by. We could smoke." Like, it's like guy, cause like, but a guy like me, he like doesn't drink or like smoke or something. Your best bet is like try to like get some stuff at Whole Foods to make a woman want to have sex with you.
Yeah. Just come by snort some maca root
Snort
with the
some maca
boys,
root,
with
yeah.
the fellas. Yeah. And then yeah, then there's another subplot with the and then there's this friend, his old friend Amanda shows up, and they're all living together.
They're all living together because he asked his sister.
Yeah.
His sister's 13. She's 10 years younger than him.
Kind of like Franny and Zoe vibes
It
with
is
that,
kinda
right?
cringe.
Did you
Yeah,
were you
I was
thinking
thinking-
that?
I was thinking about
I
it a
knew
lot.
you were
They
thinking
mentioned that
that.
in the
See?
book.
Oh, they
Yeah.
mentioned that.
They
Yeah,
talk
true.
about
Yeah.
that,
Yeah, true. That was from my first read. And
Yeah,
I picked
yeah.
it up halfway
So they
through.
talk about that, but also I think Ross, he has like this sense that he asked her, he's like, "Have you had your first period yet?" And she's
Yeah.
like, "No." And he's like, "Oh, that's got to be coming any day now."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Just turned 13."
Do you have any siblings?
I have an older brother. Yeah.
You have an older brother, no sisters.
Yeah.
That's, you're like Faulkner writing Caddy, the little sister
I don't know
Caddy
about that.
in Sound and the Fury. She's the little sister of the three
never read
brothers.
that.
But in
I
real
never read
life,
that in my life.
there's no little sister.
There's
He
no
made
little
up the little
sister.
sister.
I
But he
kinda
just
made
had
up-
a daughter when that happened. So he was like
Interesting.
and he was imagining her being like a teenager,
Yeah.
and all the men getting upset at her for being promiscuous,
Interesting.
which is what many Faulkner books end up being about.
Interesting.
But yeah, so you got no sister.
I got no sister.
But so you were saying they're all living together?
They're all living together. They move in. He buys this penthouse with
Right.
his inheritance, and he gets a big mortgage. 'cause
Yeah.
This takes place, during the zero interest rate era. The
Of
probably like post 2020.
Right.
Through I don't know when. I mean,
right.
probably takes place like I don't know, June 2020,
Yeah.
March 2021. But no, it's not really any COVID. I didn't make a big deal of that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
kinda-
You mentioned some masks here
There's
and
some
there.
masks like on the ground at one
Yeah,
point, but that's
yeah,
not really.
yeah.
It's not a focal point.
Yeah.
I think they also mentioned that his sister's going to school on Zoom.
Yeah. There's Zoom. Yeah. There's Zoom meetings.
Zoom
There's
is funny.
general agoraphobia.
A general.
At least on
Yeah.
his side. On
He
his
kinda
end.
goes out. Well,
He goes out, but he'll be like, all right, I'm gonna hole up for like 4 days now.
true,
Look at
it's true.
screens.
And he also has a home on Roosevelt Island,
Right.
which is where he has he has his apartment.
Right,
When he
right.
Because he was a male nurse.
He was a male nurse.
a male
and then he
nurse.
quit when he got the bag.
People are hearing this description.
This is
the
so,
dumbest
no,
book
it's
ever.
funny as hell, dude. This is a
It's a-
fire synopsis,
It's a
honestly.
great synopsis. For this
And then, so we got some other. So
Let's
yeah,
play the AI.
yeah, we'll put put the AI back on.
Yeah,
Hey, you
we're-
took the words right out of my mouth.
No, we're bombing.
And then yeah, Amanda's there and his sister, and then there's a subplot with an old professor of his who got canceled. Very Philip Roth.
It's funny. Someone mentioned.
Did you
like,
read
the
Human Stain?
I never read that one.
Okay,
actually.
yeah.
I've never read.
You know what he says in that?
He says. Someone asked me about this the other day. He said something about like a spook.
Yeah, he said, he's like, what are these two kids that never show up? What are they, spooks?
It's funny. Yeah, then the joke is kind of similar in this. He makes
similar.
a similar joke about
Ghosts.
someone about the ghosts and critical wraith theory.
Oh,
Someone asked
critical
about,
wraith
Plato,
theory.
the
Yeah,
Phaedo,
exactly.
where Socrates talks about like the afterlife
Yeah.
in this Platonic dialogue.
You know where else that word is used?
Which
Is in
word? Spook?
Spook. Yeah, is in that Clint Eastwood movie.
Interesting.
What's that movie? That's
in
like
Gran Torino?
yeah, I
Or
think
no?
Gran Torino. Yeah,
That's the Asian one. I haven't
he's
seen
all
that.
like, "What's up, spooks?"
But
You
spook is
spooks.
it's a black slur.
I think it's a black slur.
Interesting. I don't know.
I didn't know that.
It means enough, but it's also but a spook is also like a fed.
Is it?
I don't know. I thought maybe it's a glow.
I wonder what era that's from.
Yeah, because we could also talk. We got to talk about. I promised our dear friend Sheila Heti that we would talk about her.
That's going to
article.
be my question. That's going to be my leading question. I just got to get through the
Yeah,
synopsis.
finish the synopsis.
So then
he goes to work at the
he goes to
school.
work at this TA to try to save this canceled professor. And then should I give away the ending?
Don't spoil it. But
I
there's
won't
some
spoil it.
interesting
So
stuff.
there's some twists and turns right up
There's
until
some
at
twists
the
and turns
end.
for sure. He leads an interesting small group discussion.
He leads a small group discussion, and goes.
He gets himself into at every
He gets
turn,
himself
he
in.
gets himself into trouble.
Yes, at
doesn't
every
he,
a lot of
Ross?
twists and turns. Yeah,
Yeah.
getting himself into trouble, trying to get Laura back.
He misses her so bad.
He
yeah.
does
This
miss
is all
it.
part of his strategy. He wants to, enrich himself, not only his body with VLX
Right.
maxing and
Right.
steroids, but also his mind.
Right.
He wants to. He's trying to get a philosophy PhD.
Okay, so yeah, we were also talking about Sheila.
Well, let's finish this now. So then, at the end of the book,
Okay, yeah, you do want to go to the
maybe
end.
maybe he gets her back, maybe he doesn't.
Yeah,
you
maybe-
gotta read it.
exactly, you gotta
see what
read it.
happens, but
You gotta
maybe he gives a bigger person along.
Maybe
Maybe he finds love. Maybe not.
sometimes you're looking for something, too far outside of your purview.
Exactly. Sometimes
Right?
it's not right. But
Sometimes
it's also a lot of
it's right
Christian,
there.
It's also a Christian book. but
Because his
also a
sister's
Jewish
very
book.
Catholic.
The sister converts to Catholicism.
Right.
And she kind of presents this case that that becoming Catholic is the most Jewish thing you can do in life.
Right. You want to explain that? Why?
I think the way it's presented in the book is that there's this like very like Pascalian like argument that like you basically have nothing to lose by becoming Catholic. Like if you're Jewish, you'll always be Jewish, like halakhically, like by virtue of your birth. So if Judaism is true, like nothing bad will happen to you. But if Catholicism is true, you'll go to hell and get tortured forever.
Okay.
So you might as well, receive water baptism and, you don't really have to give that much up in life.
Right.
And I think there's something maybe appealing about this like very transactional. There's something appealing about this to someone who, to my Jewish mind at least, I guess.
Okay.
There's a compelling argument. Other Jewish people I've talked to, they're like, yeah, I was reading the book and I figure maybe I should just get baptized. Like, why not? Like, what could it hurt?
In terms of like the idea of like eternal damnation.
Well, just that, just like the risk and reward. Like, you don't have that much to lose by like.
Is that how you look at Catholicism?
I think there are times, where I look at it like that, and I think.
Do you have anyone in your life close who's died?
Who's died? Yeah. And
Okay. Sorry.
It's a frightening prospect because like half my family is just Jewish, right? And like the teaching, even if you're like the loosest like Protestant. Like basically, like it's pretty clear in the Bible. Jesus says, like, in John 3, right? He says, like, unless you're born of water and the Spirit, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. And I think in like Mark 16, he says, like, whoever believes and is baptized will be saved, and whoever is not, damned. So it's just like it's pretty clear. Like, you read like the Gospel of John that like you have to like believe Jesus is God to go to heaven. And it's a very troubling proposition, I think, to a lot of like if you like tell someone who like you have to convert to this thing, but also like all your family before you is in hell. It's like it's a big hurdle to get over. I didn't address that in the book.
Right.
My next book's gonna be about how tough it is, because it really is like if you're like some Jewish guy and like you're rich, and like you're doing well in life.
Yeah.
Like, why should I like convert to this thing that like basically says my mom and my grandma are in hell, and everyone like for 2,000 years like my ancestors are just like are being tortured.
So you read it very literally as like where your soul goes after you die.
Well, that's something the Catholic teaching, and I am Catholic, but it's like part of being Catholic is like denying precisely zero dogmas of the magisterium.
It sounds quite dogmatic.
I know. Well, that's very Jewish, legalistic,
yes,
Talmudic.
Yes.
So
where'd you grow up, dude?
I grew up. Where?
Yeah, where?
Where? Oh, upstate New York.
Where?
Potown, Poughkeepsie.
Poughkeepsie?
Potown.
Your parents were academics?
No. My parents are.
Don't be scared.
Yeah, my mom is like she goes around and like tells people to be Christian.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my dad is just like a Jewish guy.
Oh, interesting. Very interesting.
It is interesting. For sure. It's a very Freudian thing. We can maybe lie down on the. Should I lie down?
Yeah, I think because I'm becoming a bit of like a theological thinker, I believe.
Interesting.
But I don't really. I think I don't think I quite. I'm more interested. Yeah. Well, I'm more interested in. Yeah, but I mean, I'm more interested in seeing like when those texts arose and like why and like what impact it had on like humans. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Versus like because I mean, you don't know what happened. I don't know. It seems kind of like a moot point to think about.
But it seems
going
like
to heaven or hell forever. I think that's a little bit silly.
Well, the problem is it a moot point? Because it's like, if it is true, and basically like for the past like 2,000 years, like, well, I guess like 1,700 years or whatever, after like most of the world was like Christian.
Since it's the Council of Nicaea in 325.
Well,
what are you talking
not
about?
Just the council, because the council was like called like specifically to
make
resolve
the rules.
Like questions about like Jesus' divinity, right?
Take,
it was like this
take
Christological
the book of Pontius Pilate out.
There's no there's no like there was nothing to do with the canon at the Council of Constantinople. It was about whether Jesus is God or he was created by God.
Okay, you're talking about the Filioque problem.
No, the Filioque is a separate issue actually. So that's part of the Nicene Creed, and it was added. So the creed that we read at most churches is like from the Council of Constantinople. It's called like the Nicene Constantinopolitan Creed. Yeah, but Constantinople was 381, where they added. Okay. So the first creed was like, do you say this at your church, right? It's like, I believe in God the Father Almighty.
Yeah.
If you've ever been to church. maker of heaven and earth, and then the part it's like only begotten Son of God, one in essence with the Father, or like consubstantial with the Father. So there's this Greek word that's called like, I don't remember. See, I don't know Greek, but there's some word that basically means that like Jesus is of the same substance as God.
Can the question being can divinity, can God incarnate into a common human man versus only emanate from God
so the
itself?
question is whether like is Jesus
implications.
God, and was Jesus like created before time, or is Jesus created by God, or is Jesus God?
Exactly. I mean that's pretty much the same as the philo. How did you say it?
The filioque specifically, it means and the Son.
Exactly. The Son is Christ.
And the Son, yeah, but it's
so
saying,
the Holy Spirit comes straight from the Father, or does it also proceed from the Son? It's the same concept of whether divine can come through.
Because the Eastern Orthodox Eastern Christians
agree with
don't
that.
use
Exactly.
The schismatics,
right?
Eastern schismatics.
But the Roman Catholic Church does believe that.
But all Western Christians do, like Protestants, like Calvinists, Lutherans, they believe that the Holy Spirit proceeds from the Father and the Son.
And what do you think the implications of that question is?
Well, it's interesting because like if you're talking about like the distinction between like the definition the Son proceeds from the Father, like that's like the Son's relation to the Father. And if the Holy Spirit only proceeds from the Father, then like there's no actual distinction in its relation from the Father and the Son.
So it can also proceed through the Son.
Proceeds from the Father and the Son.
Yes.
And they settled this at the Council of Florence. They had all the Greek people. They all went to Florence in Italy in like the 1450s.
Well, yeah.
And they all agreed except one bishop, this guy Mark of Ephesus. You should look into this.
Okay. Well, there was another council in Lyon where they tried to settle this.
Well, I think that was like a Western council.
Is that the one you're thinking of?
No.
There's another one in Florence, but this one was in.
I thought that's where they added it. So the controversy about the filioque is that it's not in the creed from 381 or from 325. So in 325 they decided Jesus, like they said Jesus is God.
Yeah.
There was this guy Arius. They kicked him and all his supporters out. And then like 60 years later they were like, but is the Holy Spirit God? So then they added this part of the creed, and then it says in the council it's like, and no one can ever change this creed. But then like the Pope added this part. That says the Holy Spirit proceeds, because in the original creed in 381 it says the Holy Spirit proceeds from the Father.
Right.
But then they added this word and the Son.
And the Son, right.
But there's a bunch of Eastern saints
but what do you
all
think,
agreed with that.
Right.
Well.
So yeah, I mean so like, what do you think the implications of that is?
The implications of like the filioque, I think it like
it's
a pretty like obscure like technicality, and I think like the way I see it is like.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, it kind of matters.
Well, it caused like wars between like this.
It caused some problems, but
it caused major beef between two major sects.
It kind of caused a schism, but not really. They were mad about other stuff. They were probably going to split up either way, but this was like, to me, it seems like the Greeks were kind of just like, they were mad that they weren't consulted about something. Like they didn't really they kind of like. They decided after the fact to like make up all of these like theological objections they had to it, but it's really like a matter of like they were mad that someone like added something to the creed without asking them.
Okay,
basically.
so it doesn't. It's just pedantic.
I don't think it really makes that much of a difference. I think if you ask like most Christians, like almost none of them know about this.
Well, I think
unless you like look into it, unless you look in like why is there this schism, and why are there these Eastern churches?
Well, it's in Dante a lot.
It's funny because I'm sure
it's mentioned in Dante.
Yeah.
And it's also what's interesting is I think like. The implications it had around that time is like the idea of, because the distinguishing, see what you think about this. This is how I read it, based on like not going to like mass a lot or having that much like didactic understanding, and just like.
It's kind of because I've spent time in Eastern Catholic Church.
You have?
Where they're supposed to believe it, and they just.
Well, I mean, but the idea that like the divine or like the Holy Spirit, like God can come through the Son and come through like a common carpenter from Galilee or whatever.
But
that idea has like big implications in terms, especially back then. Do you know what I mean? Like the idea of like imitatio Christi was like a big idea. So like all those people who would convert, like Apostle Paul, or even around Dante's time, like Aquinas, like people who took like vows to be like Franciscan or Dominican monks, like they really thought, or Saint Francis. Saint Francis died the year Aquinas was born, like 20 years before Dante was born in 1300. So the idea was like really common of like you can try, and Dante is like a megalomaniac in some ways, and that he thinks that he's writing like a holy screed, just like just like
That's like all of us as writers. When we're
Well,
writing.
well,
That's
that's
what
well,
we all think we're
so
doing.
that's the idea, and that's
Yeah.
and same with Aquinas. He is like Dante puts Aquinas in the sun, in paradise, which is like he goes through all the planets in paradise, and the sun and every planet represents a different aspect of like perfection, closeness to God. So like the sun is like perfect knowledge. So he puts like Aquinas as the human in all of time who's like closest to God, and most has the Holy Spirit going through him. So like, but what's interesting is
It'd be interesting to live. It'd be interesting to live next, so close in proximity to two goated guys like that.
I know,
Aquinas
and his teacher was Aquinas's teacher later. So like, but what's interesting is like, obviously like, there's something, and then the instinct to say no, it only comes from the Father is kind of keeping it more like the Old Testament, every religion before, which is that like God is above, and it's not something that incarnates through a human. But let me finish this real quick.
I'll let you
Aquinas believes this in a major way. All these
In the
guys,
Filioque, in the
yes,
West. Yeah,
right. So it's like
defends it,
we can. Basically, the implication is we can strive for like to have the Holy Spirit flow through us in like the way we live, right? Because and he was on his way he was walking from on, and we went to this place when I went to Italy. We went to the damn chapel. It's Fossa Nova Chapel, where the Dominican monks used to live. He was walking where his tomb is. He was walking to Lyon because he had to walk everywhere. It was like a 3 week walk up to Lyon to defend this case, and he died. He got hit with a bug. Like he got bit by a mosquito and died on the way. Like God smited him for like thinking that he could be
This is how
God.
Aquinas died.
This is Aquinas died.
Interesting. I
And
didn't
same
know
with
this.
Saint Bonaventure. He was
They were
defending it
boys.
on this.
That was like us.
Yeah, that was like us.
Aquinas,
Both.
Bonaventure,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's like us for real,
They
dude.
were like us. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that idea is interesting.
Well, so it is an interesting idea, right? That like the Holy Spirit comes through the Son, but the Filioque specifically is like a dispute between like the Eastern and Western churches. But even in the East, they concede because it says in the Bible, Jesus says like I'm going to send a paraclete, like a helper, I'm going to send it forth to the apostles, like on Pentecost. Like he's like before he leaves, he says like I'm going to send another helper.
Yeah.
So the Eastern and it says like in the Bible that the Holy Spirit comes from the Son, but the Greeks will say that refers to the temporal procession, and the Filioque specifically refers to the eternal procession. So like God is like this like being of like pure energy, and like the Son naturally is like spirating out from the Father, and then this has all happened before time, before like the universe or the earth were created, right?
Okay.
And then you have like God is like this like being of like pure love, and then the Son is like this aspect of God where like he's becoming aware of himself, right? Like that's why like the Gospel
Incarnation.
of John, well, not just the incarnation, because incarnation refers to like the bodily incarnation of Jesus, right? So it says, and that's part of also the John 1, right? In the beginning was the Word.
Yes,
the Word
exactly.
and stuff. But like, but specifically like the nature of the Trinity, and it's like way too complicated, and no one should ever look into this. And I'm full of shame that I've.
No, I mean
it's prideful of me that I've.
It's the last page of Dante.
Interesting.
He goes to the peak of paradise. He goes all the way into goes through all the planets, into the starry sphere, into the Imperium, and the last thing he sees is 3 lights in the Holy Trinity. And then he falls back to Earth and he forgets everything. And he goes, "Oh shit! I just had a vision. I forgot. I gotta write it real quick." And then that's the book.
Yeah.
He had a divine vision.
And that's why I think like people get themselves into a lot of trouble trying to like describe the Trinity, because it's like it's unlike anything on Earth. So you're naturally going to like basically like commit heresy by like even trying to describe it, because you're going to compare it to like water that has like 3 phases. But like, have you seen the diagram of like the Athanasian Creed? Should I pull it up where it says like the Father is not the Son, but they're all God? Hold on, let me pull this up. But anyway, so as I was saying, so before like time began, right, you have like this eternal Father, and then the Son proceeds from him, and then the Holy Spirit exists as this like. It's been described to like I've heard it described as like the Father is like this like eternal being that's like always existed, and then the Son proceeds from him as this like awareness of the Father, like God being aware of himself is like the Logos. This is like the Son, and the Holy Spirit is like the love between, because if God is love, who does God love? God has to love the Son. This aspect, the Father has to love the Son, and then the love between them, this like relation between the two of them, that's the Holy Spirit.
Right.
So sometimes you hear people say that it's like a game of catch or something between a father and son. But
Yeah.
this is the diagram I was telling you about with the Athanasian Creed.
The Father, the Son,
But it's not.
Holy
See,
Spirit.
the Father is not the Son.
Right. It's
the
not.
Son
Yeah.
is not the Father.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will be like, I'm a dad, and I'm a brother, and I'm an uncle. Same way God is the Father or the Son, but that's like a heresy called like modalism. That like
Okay.
basically these are all one person. But like the proper understanding is that there are three persons in the Trinity and one God. But it's
Okay.
crazy. It's crazy. I'm talking. It's crazy. I'm spazzing.
No, it's not.
Diet Coke.
No, it's. I mean,
But it's still waters for me. It's a special. It's a particular interest to me because I often go to Eastern Catholic churches where
right.
they basically they affirm the filioque because they accept like the Council of Florence where they decided that like the filioque is true and purgatory are real. But then they and every like Eastern bishop accepted it except this one guy, Mark of Ephesus.
Okay.
And
He's
then
spurging hard right now.
I know I'm
dude.
spurging too hard.
It's
and I
okay
really
though.
want-
It's
I
okay
wanna
though.
talk about
I'm gonna bring
literature.
it back. No. But it's,
We're gonna wrap this back to Franz
we're,
Kafka
we're,
in a second.
we're gonna come back to Franz Kafka in a
Because
second.
actually, and I shouldn't even be talking about this because I'm trying to promote a Jewish novel. I'm trying to win the National Jewish Book Award.
True. You are?
I'm trying. We submitted to it.
Nice,
It was the
dude.
first fiction.
Okay.
And it's a very Jewish novel. Tell them how it's like Philip Roth.
Yeah. It is a little
It's like
Philip
Woody
Roth.
Allen.
It's like Woody. Yeah, you go into a scenario and then you break down. You break down. You constantly doing jokes, dude. You constantly doing jokes on jokes.
But yeah, but this is one
I
thing.
snort laughing
At this
like
book?
every three or four pages.
It's a really funny book.
It's,
Yeah, it's like too
like,
silly. It's embarrassing how silly the book is.
Yeah, you silly boy.
It's
for
a
that.
silly boy, but we don't talk about that in here.
Yeah, we
That's
don't talk
my
about that in
rival
here.
book. We don't even talk about silly boy. Don't say his name.
I'm getting my. That's gonna be. I finally caved and I said I'm gonna talk to my two bastardized sons, you and Peter back.
Well, I
My
was
two
saying I hate every other male writer automatically.
Yeah?
I'm jealous and I hate every male writer. He said, I can't deny you back and Jordan Castro. And I guess I like every male writer. I don't know why I said, but it's fun to say that I hate all the male writers.
You be doing little stabs every now and then. I read that cigarette part. I was like, bro, chill
That's
out,
not
dude.
about you.
Okay.
No, not at all.
We should
You're the
read
only
it.
person who smokes cigs.
Okay, so, all right. Well, let's maybe
so going
sidebar
with
the Christian.
filioque, I don't want to.
I guess it's interesting that you do kind of think of things as like
This is all the
what
stuff-
happens after you die, kind
Yeah,
of.
no. But I think that's the most important question in life, right? Is like, what happens? It's
think
very
that's
important. What happens after you die, and you see
How
it in
you
the first
live
chapter.
too. It's
Yeah,
how you
yeah.
live.
Well, but how you live and how that affects what happens to you after you die, I feel like is of interest to me.
I think just to wrap my interest in all that stuff is like and probably like in some ways how I read Dante is like he like all these 7 sins, all this stuff, all these like these kind of pitfalls you can fall into that like prevent like God from flowing through, the Holy Spirit from flowing through you, whether that's from how you're able to love better, think better, write better, mainly write, like
That's
when I feel like
rough.
I'm writing something right, that's the Holy Spirit flowing through
Well,
me.
this has to do
you know
with
what I'm saying?
the Sheila article on Harper's.
Okay. It does have to do with Sheila. Nice segue, dude.
I
Nice
should be
segue.
sorry. This is look at me.
Dude,
I'm
you
a
listen to so many
podcaster.
AI pods.
I
You listen to so many AI
podcasts. I
pods.
learned a few
You got the
things. I
format
learned a
down,
thing or
dude.
two, yeah.
Yeah, so great Sheila Heti.
It was
Very
great.
rare blurb giver.
I feel like I kind of tricked her. I used like, a lot of like Jewish charm and thing into getting
Yeah.
her to-
Yeah, you tricked her, dude. No, I'm just playing.
I worry about that. I don't know. But I did ask her, and then I asked her again, actually, after, like... Because I asked her years ago, and then it took forever to sell the book. And then I asked her again, and I was like, hi, Sheila. Like, sorry to bother you. I'm so afraid I'm bothering her.
But she wrote an article for Harper's, which
About A Course in Miracles.
about A Course in Miracles,
The New Age Bible by
the
Sheila
New Age
Heti.
Bible. Yeah, what did you think of it?
I read it on...
You read it recently.
I read it yesterday. I downloaded it, and I sent it to my Kindle, and then I went outside and read it.
Nice, dude.
And it was nice. It was nice because I had to get out of the house.
Yeah,
So I had to go sit by the water, actually.
nice, dude.
And read that article, and it was great. I mean,
Yeah.
but it was giving me the chills at times.
It
Because
was?
basically this woman. We should play the AI podcast.
We should play the AI
We should
podcast.
play the AI podcast
Play it,
about
dude.
Sheila's article.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be too long.
It's so long. It's like 7 minutes.
It's like 7 minutes.
But basically, this woman.
I'll cut it in. I'll cut it in right now.
We can cut it in, right?
All right, but yeah,
So you guys just heard that for 6 minutes.
yeah,
So
exactly.
this woman
We're
started like,
back.
hearing a voice in her head,
Yeah,
telling, and like the voice was like identifying itself as the Son of God, which right away is like, ooh, it was spooky. And it was basically telling this woman to like write down all these instructions, like for how to live and how the world, nothing is real. It made me kind of think about the Beatles too. Strawberry Fields Forever, nothing
right,
is real.
right. It's very like
And
post '60s
It's
kind
a very
of.
60s vibe, which also
Ends up-
Second Vatican Council.
Okay.
There was great evil unleashed in the 60s, you know. There was great indifferentism and
Okay.
hippie and LSD woo-woo going on. But so this woman, she writes
Age
this
of
book.
Capricorn.
So you say, I don't know, the Manson family or something, right?
Yeah.
Wop, wop, wop.
So yeah, it's a Course in Miracles. A lot of people, you know, like a lot of people love that
it.
book. Amelia loves that book.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But that's her vibe, kind of.
Perhaps.
But there's something compelling about it, right? I don't actually know her that well.
Basically, does the Holy Spirit come through the Son or just the Father?
It's more like does the Holy Spirit come through you, like thinking positively.
Right,
And like basically doing what you want. And to me, my takeaway from that article is that like basically this woman, and at the end Sheila starts saying that it's like MK Ultra and stuff, and I was like, damn, I got to text Talon about this.
That got crazier too. Yeah, because I read many versions.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, yeah. But here's the thing where I thought this is what I was going to ask you in the beginning. So it was a book that Sheila got interested in for a while, and then she started doing more research about it when she decided to write about it, and she learned that it was written by this older woman who had this interesting relationship with this
in love with this gay guy.
this younger, attractive, charismatic gay guy, and basically the format was the woman Helen would start a ranting stuff to saying that she had these visions and these heard this voice in her head, and it was Jesus talking to her, and then all these
But
rules.
it's interesting because she never said it was Jesus, right? And she would only call it the voice, which like stuck out to me. I think I have it like highlighted on my Kindle over there.
Interesting.
But it was interesting that.
You wanted to keep it away from complete heresy.
Well, no, because I think it was a demon basically talking to her, and because it's very similar. It reminded me of like the writing of like the Book of Mormon or like the Quran. This is like there was these like similar stories of these like guys like having these visions, and like they're skeptical initially. I think you see this with like Muhammad and with Joseph Smith. Like at first they don't want to, and they kind of get like encouraged. I think like one of Muhammad's wives was telling him.
Muhammad's in like the final penultimate circle of
Sure
Dante's hell.
Yeah,
Dante's hell. Dante puts him there.
The Italians were probably not a fan of him at that time. Oh, you got ice?
Yeah, you want ice? Let me get you some ice.
That's clean.
All right,
I have these two at home.
rant first.
I have the
Those are
jalapenos.
fire, dude. I've been
I know.
going
I'm
through
making
those.
them with the Costco chicken nuggets, actually.
Nice, dude.
You
Talk
got
about
an air fryer in here?
Nah, I don't got an air fryer. I just privileged my drink because I had alcohol in it.
Okay. But you want to let it get watered down? I mean, I don't need the ice that bad, but if you got it around, I don't even have ice in my apartment. I don't have one of those. I know. I have too much.
I got these terrible ice things from because I used to live in Diker Heights, and there's a lot of it's a very multicultural area. Actually,
We're both mixed race. We could talk about that if
yeah,
you want to. I don't know if you want to talk about being
what
mixed
race are you again?
Well, I'm Jewish and Latinx and Italian also.
What Latinx?
My grandma's from Cuba.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice, dude.
Everyone thinks I'm joking about that. When I call myself Latinx, they're like,
Jeez,
"Damn."
dude, I'm just
Brutal.
wrecking this right now, dude. And I'm taking all the dirty ones.
Pack it
like
up.
that. Yeah, but
AI would never drop ice all over the floor.
true.
We're about to get replaced.
AI will never win, dude. But I guess what was interesting about it, like one thing I was thinking about when I was
About the Sheila article.
yeah, and when I was reading the book and thinking about the Sheila article.
Did you read the Course in Miracles?
No.
That's
I've looked at it though. Yeah. But
There's also this book, The Secret, that was like an Oprah book, and I think it's mentioned in my book. It was this like because my book there's a lot of stuff about like the 2000s. Like there's clearly the narrator has clearly like a fixation with like this period from probably like 1998 to like 2010. All the cultural references because I remember this as a kid. There were like two things that I remember people talking about a lot, like the Da Vinci Code.
Yeah,
which
the
I've
Da
never
Vinci
read. Have you ever
Code.
read that?
I never read it. No.
I bet it's probably kind of cool, but like
Yeah.
I remember my mom's friends like being so stupid they thought it was like real. My mom would like tell her friends like, no, like Jesus didn't have a wife, and like my mom's like friends like from church.
Mary Magdalene.
Yeah. So they said, but yeah, that's like not true. It's like not really a thing. But,
No,
like,
it wasn't his wife, but
it
that
wasn't
was
his wife.
his
You know,
girl,
wife.
kind of.
Yeah, she was a real lady. She's a great saint.
Who?
Mary Magdalene.
After he forgave her, which means
That he got forgiven, yeah, but it's unclear if she's that woman. People think that she's like the woman that, like the Jesus saved from being stoned
during Holy Week.
Yeah, but it's a weird thing that like
The cause of Judas's betrayal.
no, I don't think that.
Yeah, it
in
is.
Dante or something.
No, it's in all the Gospels.
No. Mary Magdalene was the cause of the betrayal.
Well, in a way, because
the woman who bring the
basically,
oil, right?
Yeah,
Judas
that's
gets
Mary
mad. He's
Magdalene.
like, we could have saved
That's Mary
that.
Magdalene.
I think it's Mary. Yeah, is it Mary Magdalene?
Yeah,
or some other-
Jesus forgives her for her life of sexual sin, and she's so grateful that she pours expensive perfume on him. And Judas,
No, that's
in
weird.
John, Judas gets upset, and he says,
But
"Why
is
don't you,
that why- are you
why don't you
sure?
give it to the poor?" And Jesus
does
said,
say that, yeah.
"Listen, bro, the poor
They're
are gonna
always
be there.
here, yeah.
I'm
No,
not
that's a good
always
point.
here."
Well, John's the best one. It just goes so it's like the dopest. Like when you're reading it, it's like it has just the most epic feel to it because it's written like
Yeah.
like a almost like a play or like a
Yeah.
dialogue.
In Aquinas, he breaks down what each of the Gospels represent, and they represent. Aquinas is crazy, dude. He's just coming up with all these rules and systems, and they represent the
guy.
four. You know those four symbols on like they be on like tarot cards and shit, and it's basically the man, the lion, the eagle, and the ox, and they each represent one of them. And I should pull that up. Dude, this pod's just gonna become a Christianity pod. soon.
Christianity podcast.
The thing that John is concerned with, I think, is like Christ's divinity or Christ's prophet.
Calling
His status
himself
as a
God.
prophet.
No, his status as God. It's like the highest like
Right.
Christology.
It's like
So
God and man.
Matthew's like the most Jewish gospel. Like
Right.
it shows like Jesus as like Moses basically. Like it shows like because even in
Right.
Matthew like Jesus is like a refugee because Herod's gonna kill like all the children. So then
yeah.
Jesus, Mary, and Joseph have to go like through
Right.
Egypt.
Right.
That parallels like Moses' birth. Like his mom like put him in this basket, and then he was like adopted by the Pharaoh's daughter.
Right.
And then even when Jesus does like the Sermon on the Mount, it's like a parallel to like the Ten Commandments you see.
Right. Only one of them has that.
Well, I think
Or one of them does it the best.
Matthew may do it the best, like
Yeah.
on top of the mountain, but on Luke
Yeah.
he's like not really on a mountain.
Then Aquinas was saying one was concerned with.
And Luke's the only one who's not Jewish. You know about that?
He's just a doctor.
He's a doctor, but it's crazy that the doctor's the one who's not Jewish, isn't it?
Yeah, that's crazy. He was just
Who would go to that
Roman?
guy? Imagine you live in a Jewish place. And one guy
Chill
who's a
out.
doctor.
He was a Jewish doctor.
Yeah, it was a Jewish doctor. It was a Gentile. I'm not gonna say it. What type of writer wrote the Gospel of Luke? He was a Gentile. He was a Greek doctor.
He was a Greek
He was a
doctor.
Greek doctor.
When I saw that, when you wrote that down, I was
He was
just
a
like,
Jewish doctor.
but the girl was like, I'm taking Adderall from a doctor. But it was a Jewish
He was a
doctor.
Jewish doctor. That wasn't even on purpose in the book.
No way, dude.
No, I really. It was
You're
just
out of
coincidence.
control
well,
for
Kanye
that.
and I were always on the same page.
Yeah, me too, dude.
We're always.
Not always, but.
Yeah, be careful. With
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Pause.
Yeah, pause.
Fuck, dude. So yeah, I mean, I guess the reason why it's all relevant to
Sheila's
to
already.
Sheila is because
Who we said we're gonna. I promised her because she told me.
okay. Here, let me just say the question, and we can expand more on Sheila's thing. Because basically, yeah. So the whole time, this woman's dictating these things to this
This voice is
this
dictating
voice
to this young woman.
to the,
Not even.
no.
Old,
The
she's
voice, the
16.
older woman is and then she hears the voice. And she calls this her coworker at the
guy,
Columbia
Bill.
University, Bill.
Helen and Bill.
Yeah, and she calls Bill and tells him, breathlessly, like, "Oh, I heard this and this," and then he writes it out, and he's editing it, which is, yeah, it's interesting ideas of like writing styles that involve dictating to somebody else and writing it. I've been thinking about, Milton, you know about how Milton wrote this.
I don't know about that.
Okay, he had it.
I don't know about that.
In Paradise Lost.
Yeah, but I don't know about that.
His wife died, and then he married again, and his second wife died, and then he went blind. But he had 3 daughters, and he would just sit there blind, and he would dictate to both of his daughters, and they would write it for him.
That's dope.
That's kinda fire, right?
That Dostoevsky dictated, like The Gambler and Crime and Punishment, like in a year because he like owed someone. He was just betting a ton.
Dude, I need to come up with like a better intake system, like Typing takes too long.
I feel like the AI is so good you can probably talk to it.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe gotta
you know,
get on the AI.
It's too good now.
But so like then as Sheila goes into it more, she's saying this interesting thing about how like in a way this woman was like trying to impress this guy she was
This
in love
gay
with.
guy,
Yeah, who it was unrequited love thing, and then she's saying something about why we write things in the first place, and like and like and like I've just been thinking about that a lot with how like what I'm writing, what impact I'm trying to have, and I was thinking about for you, what do you think that, what do you think you are trying to achieve by writing?
Well, I think like I started writing like basically just like trying to like make my friends laugh.
Okay.
Like be funny, be entertaining. Like I always wanted to like be entertaining, I guess. But there's this like Flannery O'Connor quote about how like a story, like it's just like when people ask me what a story is about, I
Yeah.
say like it takes every word and like not one less than like a story or like writing fiction sometimes is like the best way to articulate like an idea that you're having or like a
Right.
feeling that you're feeling. And as far as like communicating goes, and this I was thinking about this more a lot like 6 years ago when I was into like David Foster Wallace a lot.
Yeah.
This idea that like it's so hard to like communicate with people like
Yeah.
for a number of reasons in modernity, but I think like in a lot of ways like if you have this like idea that's like, and I'm a very obsessive, you know, autistic guy or whatever.
Yeah.
So sometimes if you have these like ideas that you're like fixated on,
Yeah.
and like you can't like scratch this itch, like the only way to like get your idea actually like articulated down
Yeah.
is by like writing fiction about it. Like
Yeah.
writing a story is the only way to really like
Yeah.
communicate what you're feeling.
Do you feel like you were, the cameos in the end are hilarious too?
In my book,
Yeah, in your book,
there's some cameos.
just like real life cameos.
There's some guys, yeah. There's some people
Yeah.
we know.
So do you feel like you were?
I think part of that, people love to see their name like written on a book.
Sure,
It makes people laugh, like it's fun.
You feel like you were going. I mean, I guess what's interesting.
I kind of had like no friends while I was writing this book. Actually, like, when I
Okay.
wrote the first draft of this book, I was living in like Long Island City, Queens. Shout out to Queens.
Was that before you and?
It was before I had any girlfriends that anyone listening to the show would
Okay.
know about.
Interesting. Had you gone through anything like that?
I had like the book. Yeah, I had a
Yeah,
different
like some
girlfriend.
kinda-
Yeah, who I did break up with, like, because I was Catholic and she was kind of. It wasn't that she was smoking weed. It was like, it was more like I was like getting like very religious.
You were getting what?
I was sort of like taking my religion like more seriously because I like went to church every week like all through college.
At
and-
NYU?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And I went to church every week, and then I moved to Los Angeles, and I worked at the baby food company, and I went to church every week. I never like missed a week, but I just didn't really like care. I like never went to confession or like said the rosary or anything. I would just like go every week
Okay.
and not eat meat on Friday. It's kind of like the bare minimum.
Okay.
And then I kind of started. Yeah, and part of it is just like when you're like frustrated with your girlfriend, you start getting like more right wing. You know,
Yeah.
about this. You start like picking fights and like sending her like New York Post articles about about criminals on the subway and stuff.
About what?
About criminals on the subway. But that, and also like I started like getting more religious because she was kind of from a prominent atheist family, and I was like getting annoyed. And I was like getting like deep into like Christian apologetics,
Okay.
learning about the filioque and stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
So I could spaz.
Yeah.
And then I was at the point.
She's
Yeah,
being very fast and loose with her morals.
She was fast and loose with her Christology. Yeah.
Right,
She
right.
maybe thought Jesus was created by the Father, not.
Yeah, exactly.
not,
She didn't understand that she could.
begotten,
Yeah, she
not
didn't.
begotten, not made.
Right.
One in essence with the Father.
Right.
True God from true God, light from light. You know.
Okay.
She wasn't upholding the Nicene Creed, which is a big no-no.
That's fucked up, dude.
It's messed up. Yeah.
Damn.
So then I was kind of like praying a ton. And I was like, yeah, I guess I got to break up with this girl.
This is after college.
This was like after college. This was like in 2020, and then the whole world gets locked down. I was like, damn, I guess I'm just by myself in Queens now. I feel pretty sad. I was like, let me just write a book.
It's so interesting from the people who are like 5 years to 10 years younger than me, the role of the pandemic in like their like college or post college like
Yeah. Well, I
chronology
graduated
is kind of
early,
crazy.
so I was fully like done with school.
You're fully out,
But my
yeah.
girlfriend, she was still. She's older than me, but somehow she was still in school. It was like
Okay.
a gap year.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why. Okay.
So then I wrote
And
this
then-
book about
and
missing
then
your
you-
girlfriend.
Okay. Interesting. And then do you feel like how do you feel like it's impacted your life since you wrote it?
How I feel.
Not in terms of the publication, just in terms of like the
Well,
kind
I
of
think
story,
by
writing
the
down that
time-
kind of story.
Yeah. Well, I think like by the time I was done writing the book, I started like people asking what it was about. I started saying like, I kind of came up with this like creepy aphorism that like, I wake up every day and I choose to be Catholic, but I have but I wake up every day and I have no choice but to be Jewish. And in a way, that's kind of what the book is about. That like no matter what you do, you can never really stop being a Jewish guy. And I feel like I've like now that I've written a Jewish novel, I feel like I've like I guess I don't remember. I think I always like felt obviously very Jewish and like talked about it all the time, but it feels like I don't know that I like viewed like the Jewishness and like the Catholicism with as much tension as I did before I wrote this book, and now it kind of seems like a thing that I think about every day. So I think I like gave myself a complex by writing this book, but maybe I already had it. It's like kind of in the book
of your
this war in my mind. Yeah, this
being Jewish
this,
but not being Jewish.
well, Jewish, but also
Catholic.
yeah, Jewish and Catholic war in one's mind.
Okay, interesting.
You're
You're. It's interesting because sometimes I think like in general, like I think like when you first sent me the book, I laughed like 5 times in the first page, and it was very rare for me to feel something that like immediately
your book
funny.
opens has me laughing too. You're like at the deli. Or
It did have you, yeah, and that book.
First part of my day,
that's fun.
funny.
It is
I didn't
jokes.
I was like, who this guy wrote a book?
Yeah, fuck this guy, dude.
Yeah, no,
Fucking.
I hate every
Who
male
the
writer.
fuck does he
until
think he is?
Until I meet
Everyone hates every male writer
every
today.
until you meet them.
Today.
I know. Yeah, everyone, not just especially.
Everyone hates every male.
That's why.
And there's not many of us.
That's why I was mad at the LA Review of Books guy, because I was like, if you want to write a Jewish novel, you could have brought back Jewish novels with this article.
Yeah, except for a few women.
A few women
Well,
women
like
actually really
men.
like my book.
Yeah, a few. I think women. Well,
They kind of like your book too.
Yeah, but
Because we're sensitive.
yeah. I mean, but the thing. Okay, so what I was gonna say was that the jokes are undeniable, and maybe it's just like something's happened. Like if I look back at like the first half of the book of my second book
Of your second one, yeah.
that like I wrote before anything happened, and
Yeah.
I was gonna go on like a
'Cause you have
tear.
some
I was
stuff.
gonna go on a NASCAR tear and just write a million boys. You know what I mean? It was gonna be a book of 7 boys, and like the 7 dwarves.
You were gonna do. So you were gonna do fuck man. You were gonna do like mad boy.
Yeah, I was whatever. Just I was gonna
But it
keep.
was
I
gonna
was
be
on a
bold.
tear. I was on a tear,
Yeah.
and then like I could. And
After you finish a book, I feel like this too. I feel like you could just keep. You feel so good after you're done. You feel like you should just. And then I stopped writing, but I felt like I could have written like 2 more books.
well, I was. Yeah, I mean, I think
was in a zone. For
I think
sure.
the books have to keep evolving, and sometimes God has other plans. You know what I'm saying?
I
But
agree with
like,
that.
so maybe something's happened where like, if something's like, because of like my brain of like things that happened, I look to literature for like I need to have some like dire thing being which has always kind of been my ethic, because as much jokes as fuckboy is, it also gets like pretty like kind of it gets kind of gnarly and kind of dire. So then like I think that was the thing that was like preventing me from like bodying it. You know what I'm saying?
The next book.
No, your book.
You didn't want to dive in.
No, I was in, and also sometimes when you take and your voice is like super strong, so like when you start to like catch the rhythm of it and you take it. But I guess it was just interesting how like maybe that's why. Or maybe it was just like interesting. I guess one of the ways it was triggering was like you're like, oh, like my parents died, and then like now I got like really rich, and like it's jokes.
I
though.
guess that kind of happened.
And I was like, that kind of happened to me, but like seriously.
But actually,
yeah,
it's
but
not a
actually,
joke,
and I
I
was like,
haven't seen
there
it,
was just
so.
something where I was just like, this motherfucker. Like, oh, it was so funny. Then he like has a dream that they came back, and he was like, he wakes up and he's like, oh, thank God they're still dead.
I know. Yeah, he's relieved. Yeah.
I was just like, look at Matthew, you fucking jokester, you
that
calm
part is
down,
fun,
dude.
Yeah, but that's deep.
But do you think, yeah,
Well,
what?
that part is a reference to the judgment, the Kafka story, where his
Okay,
like, dad
go
like,
in.
throws him out the window.
Oh,
Ross has like a dream like that.
Okay.
Because really, like, I was obsessed with Kafka. Like, for
Okay.
all and everyone keeps saying books like Philip Roth, and it's like. Philip
I think
Roth.
it's more like
It's not really that
it's
much.
more like Curb Your Enthusiasm or something.
I think but the trial is so much like Curb Your Enthusiasm. Like,
Okay.
The way he's like going
Yes.
around, he's like basically talking.
he
to, like,
breaks down like absurdities of things as he's
absurdities,
going
but
through
also
it.
it's like talking to employees like, who can't really do anything about it, and you're complaining. I've been
Yeah.
saying this in every interview, so the true Matthew Davis fans right now are annoyed at me continuing to like harp on this idea that like Kafka is the original like 20th century like funny Jewish guy who's complaining all the time, and has this. I've been describing it. I talk about it in analysis all the time because I have like the same way you think you're like Dante or Jesus or whatever. I think I'm like Kafka.
I think I'm
You
Jesus.
think you're yeah. So I start thinking I'm Kafka. And then like he has this sense like the entire world is like conspiring against him to like mildly inconvenience him. Like even in the trial, like it's not like he
That's
gets like
hilarious, dude. That's a bar.
but but it's not like he's like getting like locked up and like I guess at the end of the trial he like does he die? I'm getting it mixed up with the movie. The movie's also awesome. It's like
the trial.
yeah. It's like Anthony Perkins, like the gay guy from Psycho, like the Hitchcock movie, and then it's directed by Orson Welles. It's dope. It's so
Sick,
good.
dude.
No, it's awesome, and the movie's really funny too. But it's so much like Curb.
Okay. Yeah. The
which
whole
I-
world's conspiring to him, like mildly, like
Well, this yeah, so
inconvenience
when
him with
get
like
mildly-
bureaucratic
when
like
something
nonsense.
unfortunate happens to you, you think like, how could this be happening to me? Like this is so unfair. Like why are you doing this to me?
Right.
This like sense, that like the universe in some sense is like trying to punish you for something.
Right.
So I've been calling that paranoid narcissism. That like
Interesting.
that like when something bad happens to you, it's like intentional. This like sense you feel, that like you're being like punished rather than just like, oh, bad things happen sometimes.
Right.
It's like someone hates me.
Right.
And that's why this is happening.
Right.
And I think Ross
Has that?
he has that in some way. Yeah.
Okay.
I think Kafka must have felt it too.
Yeah.
I have these letters to Milena here. You know about this?
No, what's this?
He was like his translator from like German to Czech.
Okay.
And we only have his letters. We don't have the letters she wrote him back.
Okay.
But it's so funny. Everyone in his life, they just like, he's just like weird. He's like this like neurotic Jewish guy, and then everyone just like published everything he ever wrote.
So he
after
was
death.
getting his stuff translated while he was
Translated
alive,
into
or
Czech,
she
yeah.
translated
She
after?
translated, because she was better. Because he lived over there, but he wasn't that good at writing Czech. He would write her letters, but he would like write in German his fiction.
That was his friend who would later
He was his
translate
friend,
them?
but I think he was kind of.
Or was he already
I don't-
translating stuff? I thought he didn't
but
publish
she
anything.
translated him. No, he published a bunch of stuff.
Oh, he did? I'm
in his
tripping.
lifetime. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But he had a
But
bunch
some of the stuff he
unpublished.
didn't want published.
Yeah.
Right.
But no one cared about it. But like
Right.
the Metamorphosis, I think, was definitely published in his
Right,
lifetime, and
right.
like Hunger Artist.
Okay, okay.
The whole book, it's called like A Country Doctor. It's got like a bunch
Yeah,
of stories
Country
in it.
Doctor. Yeah, Pino
Yeah.
Colony.
Pino Colony, I think, is in there. Yeah, it was.
I read those
published.
stories and the trial
Those
and
stories
the
are dope,
Metamorphosis.
yeah.
But in as an undergrad.
As an undergrad,
Yeah.
yeah. I didn't get to take literature class. So I kind of just. I didn't get to learn. I didn't get to read. I got to read. I just had to sneak into the library.
I took an epic modernism seminar.
And you did your Kafka
when I was
in there.
Yeah, and we read all the Kafka.
Yeah, I know. Lately I've been feeling like I need
when I
to
was
go back to
young,
school.
dumb boy.
When you were a dumb boy.
Yeah.
Dumb boy.
I was a dumb boy. Yeah.
Your young other book.
Yeah.
Well, I've been feeling at the beginning of Annie Hall, he tells this joke that like there are these people at the Catskill Mountains Resort, and then like someone comes up and asks them how the food is, and they're like, "Oh, it's terrible in such small portions." And Woody says that's how like life feels. That like it sucks, but it's over far too soon. I've been thinking about that with college lately. Like I hated being in school. I like never wanted to do my homework, but now that I'm out of school, I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have graduated early. I should have stayed for like another year, and
It sucks. It's
I
far
could
too
have taken way
soon.
more classes.
I think
in literature.
the best line from Sound and the Fury is when he says temporary is the saddest word, and it isn't even time until it already was. Damn, dude.
Damn that.
It isn't even time until it was.
Until it was.
It isn't even time until it was, dude. Yeah, you start switching tenses around like that, that's when you get real.
Well, that's like Kamala talking about what
Yeah.
can be unburdened by what has been.
Right. Kamala is very Faulknerian with her
She's pretty
temporal
odd.
logic.
She's pretty funny. She's kind of great. She's got
Okay.
interesting. She's been doing an interesting Southern voice lately.
She has been.
That's
She
so
does
funny.
have a. She does
She
have.
code switch.
She does. Yeah. She's like me kind of.
like you, yeah,
Yeah. We be
exactly.
code switching.
When she's code
Yeah,
switching, she knows
yeah.
about the hood.
Yeah. She comes through with that southern drawl sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should get her on.
Sometimes you got. Yeah. I should
She'll
get her
know what
on.
you're talking about.
What book you think we would talk about?
I don't know what book she even likes.
Sally Rooney.
You think she's? I don't know. If she,
No. Maybe like A Secret Life of Bees or something
You
like
think
that.
she reads any books? I don't know. It's funny when they asked like her favorite rapper, and she's like Tupac.
She
You
did.
guys could talk about rap, I guess.
Yeah, we could
Probably
talk about
not.
rap.
Well, actually,
We could talk about Megan Thee Stallion.
About Megan Visa. I know who.
Yeah.
She has to bring her out. Pimp
Yeah.
out for the rallies. Well, I wanted to ask you actually about the Drake Kendrick Lamar beef, but I feel like you were tuned out. You weren't following.
No,
this?
I'm following it,
You're
dude.
following it?
I was working with this dude Wilton. We had a lot of debates about the Kendrick
Interesting.
Drake. My
But
boy
you guys
Wilton.
had sides. What side were you on?
No, I'm not. I mean, look, it's
It's the love of the game. They're both both sets of songs are great songs.
Yeah, no, it's clear. You know, according to the rules of rap, it's clear.
I think Kendrick
it's clear
won.
what happened. Yeah.
But I feel like Family Matters at the end of the day is the best. It is actually the best track and has the hardest.
I don't think I've listened to it since.
Damn, I played it a lot. But you listen to Not Like
I actually
Us?
haven't listened to any of them since.
Any of them?
I don't know
since?
why.
I've
I don't
listened
know
to
why.
Matters a lot this summer.
Yeah?
It's just so good. It's so funny. Every line is just so funny.
Yeah.
When he talks about, I wish you played it more because we could talk. Because we'd be cracking up if we talked about it. When he talks about, I think one of them little kids might be Dave Freeze, and it's just so funny.
What does that mean?
This Dave Freeze, like Kendrick's like manager.
Oh, okay.
And then he says, if your GM is your BM, secret BD, then this is all making plenty effing sense to me.
If your GM is your BM.
Is your BM, yeah. If your general
about-
manager is your baby
about-
mama, secret baby
Oh,
daddy. He's saying one of those kids.
okay. Whoa.
He's saying that Kendrick's BM has a baby with Dave Free, which is crazy. It's a
Damn,
crazy
dude.
allegation.
Damn, yeah. There's a lot of crazy allegations going on there. No, I think that yeah. I think just the thing with that beef was,
It's kind of like us.
is it like us? Am
We
I
gotta say
Kendrick?
it on the pod.
Am I
don't know.
Kendrick?
I guess you're big bro though. I feel like I'm younger.
So I'm Drake.
you all
You're trying to be Kendrick.
Well,
Everyone tries to make me Drake. Everyone,
I guess I'm
everyone tries to
Drake
make me
'cause I'm
Israel.
Drake because I'm Jewish, half Jewish, like Drake.
Yeah.
And that's why they hate him. They all hate him because he's Jewish. It's anti-Semitic rap beef.
Yeah.
Um,
You think that's why they hate him?
I think it's probably part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it's just.
Kanye called the shots. He put out the hit on him. He told them that it had to be done. I heard. That Kanye,
told who?
That Kanye said the shot
That,
had to.
that Kendrick had to go in.
That Kendrick had to. Yeah, he gave him the authorization to come for Drake. But then I saw Drake and I texted my mom about it. I was like, Drake followed Kanye on Instagram.
So they're tight
And
now.
I don't know if they're tight now. And my mom was like, "Why are you telling me this?"
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess I just think, yeah, some, it's like, I feel like Kendrick had it one, and he kind of went like a little too far.
With what? With Not Like Us?
Yeah, or just like, no, just like.
I don't think he had it one until that. I feel like that
well, he
was-
had it
was a
one. Yeah,
knockout
that's where how he
for
had it
sure.
one. But then
Yeah.
there's a little bit like, or it's just interesting. Like, I just think things shift so fast where like the kind of like there's a lot of like victim, not victim stuff in almost everything in life now, you know? And I think like it's harder to decipher what, yeah, I don't know.
Victim, not victim. It's interesting. Well, people talk about this. Interesting.
Whatever. It's just like in
Yeah.
20
In 24?
in 2011,
2011.
Kendrick was like different than he was after he won the Pulitzer. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Like what he represents.
It's true that he.
Do you know what I
became
mean?
He became, yeah. Well,
Like where
that-
it's like
that's
it's
what
not
Drake
it's
says,
not
that
a
he says-
subversive
He
stance.
says you just acting like an activist. It's make believe.
Well, I
Rapping
guess
like
Drake.
you about to get the slaves free.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
yeah.
even go back to your hood and plant no money trees.
Damn, dude.
I was saying I wanted to go bar for bar. on
I was
this.
in Italy. I was in Italy when,
When it
that,
came out, when
that
it
was came
dropped.
out, and I didn't have any Wi-Fi. I was like tapped in. Why do you think I think I'm Jesus?
Because you're in Italy.
Cause what?
Because you were in Italy. Or 'cause
No.
you didn't feel
I'm
the
going
rap?
back. I'm going back. Why do you think I think I'm Jesus? You're just joking.
I was just kidding. Yeah.
No,
I
but
think
the
I'm
thing
Kafka.
is, yeah. Why
You
do
look good with the longer hair now.
Why do we
When I
start?
first met you, had the buzz cut.
Yeah. I code switch depending on how my hair is. Just like Kamala.
Yeah, you
dude.
talked to him. You would have if we'd done this podcast back when you had the buzz cut, you would have been able to know all the lines to Family Matters by Drake.
I'm not that interested in rap beefs. I think it's like it's
In
kind
rap
of
beefs?
it's kind of yeah. I don't know. I just think it's kind of like it gets everyone excited, but you know
What got him to start rapping again?
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. He dropped a new song like a few days ago.
I saw that and I didn't really, but people were saying it's whack.
I listened to it on people didn't like it because it wasn't a diss track, but
Mm-hmm.
he was just saying like you know what I'm saying all these parties are over, which is kind of how I feel towards the New York literary scene, to be honest.
I don't even know what the literary scene is. Like I know a couple people I guess who are good writers. We don't need to say who's bad,
Yeah.
or who's good, or anything.
Yeah. Wait, but how do we get on the Kendrick Drake stuff? We were talking about Kafka.
We were talking about Kafka.
We were talking about
We got into it, but I mean I was itching to bring it up.
yeah. You brought that up out of the
I was
blue.
texting
You
when
derailed
texted
our
about the
shit.
beef. I'm like, yo, can't wait